Prince really did have some amazing album covers. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend. I'm your host, Prince's Friend. And we all know that Prince was a master of music, playing tons of instruments, writing, composing, arranging, producing, everything. But a picture is worth a million words. And he spent a lot of time and energy to deliver also a visual message with his album covers. Today, we're gonna go through my top 10 list of Prince album covers so that you can see the greatness that is this man's mind, as well as the expertise of the photographers that he chose to work with. I should note that I'm also not limiting myself to only his studio albums, but also singles and maxi singles, because I really wanted to make more work for myself. There was a lot to go through, which made it super hard, but I was able to narrow it down to 10. And of course, if you like stuff like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and the notifications bell, like this video, and share it around. Now, let's get right to it. So my number 10 pick is the Moutains single. When you think of Parade 1986, Under the Cherry Moon, you usually think of Prince in this position. But there was a single for the song Moutains where he was wearing the same outfit, but he had the hat on and it was in profile instead of face on. I don't know, it really just struck me as the superior of the three pieces that are there. Also, it felt a little crisper. It felt more energetic, like what is he going to get off screen? The designer was Laura Lipuma Nash, and I think she really outdid herself on this one. So when Prince made an appearance on New Girl in 2014, there was this whole scene where he pulled her up on stage and she magically started singing the song she had never heard before. But of course you know, Prince is magic. That song was called Fall in Love Tonight, and while it found its final home on Hit and Run Phase 1 a couple of years later, without Zooey Deschanel, this version was released alongside the episode, and sported this amazing cover of Prince hidden behind golden loops and portals to other worlds, and it has nothing to do with New Girl, but it is one of the most striking covers in my opinion. MPLSound has an illustration of a guitar lodged deep into the ground like King Arthur's Excalibur, electric jellyfish floating around it, a bird with an audio jack as a head. I mean, it's just amazing and just bonkers. This album was the one that was coupled with Lotus Flower, and of course Lotus Flower gets all the love in my opinion, but MPLSound had this crazy cover, and I tried actually finding out who the artist was, but it actually has no listed artist, so it's just kind of assumed to come from deep within Prince's kind of weird mind. On the cover of 2010, we have Prince as an anime character. Now, if you're not a fan of anime and that style, can totally understand why you might not like this cover. I love it personally. The designer was Debbie McGuan, who also designed his clothing at the time, which makes sense because most of his clothing had these kind of designs and stuff all over it. Prince also gave a shout out on the album cover to his creative team by having a little black and white sketched hand drawing the illustration on the cover. Really cool, very classy. I really dig this cover. Now, you knew I was going to have at least one Alan Bolio on here. He was actually the very first creative photography Prince had ever had, and I think it showed a lot. I chose the Controversy cover because I really liked Prince's look at that time. I loved the story behind how they handmade the newspapers and stuff behind him, and I think the shot itself is superb. Also, if you haven't picked up Alan's book, Prince Before the Rain, there's a link in the description, go get it. It's super good. So 2007's Planet Earth is an amazing album with an equally amazing cover. It's Prince sporting a red outfit and a giant, and I mean giant, necklace of his love symbol around his neck. And he's overlooking the planet Earth. There's some really cool 3121 kind of Matrix style design behind him. It's really amazing and it's beautiful. The shot of Prince that was used for this was taken by Afshin Shahidi, and the graphic design was done by Sam Jennings. So it's really, really good. Afshin actually had a really cool photo book of Prince out there called Prince, A Private View. There's a link in the description for that as well. Superb work on Planet Earth though. Now, Diamonds and Pearls is interesting because it had variant covers. One was the blue monotone version that we're actually kind of used to, but the other one was a really awesome golden cover with a hologram of Prince, Diamond, and Pearl. It's one of my all-time favorite things, because who in the hell has a hologram cover for their album besides Prince? It blew my mind as a kid because I'd never seen anything like that. So good job on Greg Ross, who my research tells me was the designer of the cover. Good job. Number 4. So the cover for Breakfast Can Wait is pretty hilarious. When Prince came out with his single for Breakfast Can Wait in 2014, he really wanted to show off his sense of humor. He asked to use permission of him as Prince from Chappelle's Show, of him with a plate of pancakes for the cover, because dude was really funny, man. He knew he was an easy target with the way that he was so flamboyant and kind of out there, but he was able to launch that hilarity right back at any comedian who used him as punchline fodder. Breakfast Can Wait is also a good song, by the way, but the cover, amazing. My number 2 choice for the best Prince album cover is for Lovesexy. The album cover got a ton of women to drool, a ton of men to go, huh? And record stores to hold this album behind the counter due to decency rules. Prince made a huge statement with Lovesexy, and more than just his music. The cover features him completely naked, save for a crucifix around his neck. And he's sitting on a bed of flowers, one of them with a stamen in an erect position. This is another great showing of his work with Laura LaPuma Nash, and is still one of the greats. So before we get to the number 1, I have 2 honorable mentions. The first one is for Around the World in a Day. The painting was really well done, and each of the people in the painting is a recreation of a member of the revolution. Super cool, it just didn't crack the top 10. The second one is for The Hits Disc 2. This image always stood out to me. The photo shoot that produced this one also produced a ton of other pictures that you can readily see online, but this one has always been the most iconic of them. It's just tops. But let's move on to number 1. And the number 1 choice for Best Prince album cover is The Rainbow Children. This is my favorite Prince album cover of all time, and that's for a variety of reasons. First off, the art styling is amazing. It's got elongated forms and a bluesy feel, and it's colorful and it's eye-catching. Second, the story behind how this became the Prince album cover is really great. Prince always had an eye for discovering talent, so he purchased several pieces from the artist beforehand, and years later came back and purchased this piece called the Rhine-Kantz Quintet. It's a band of all women, since the artist, who is Sababi Bayok, his wife told him that he was painting too many men. Prince bought it because at the time he was working with an entirely female backing band. So I just love the kismet of what it took to make this the next Prince album cover. And reason number 3, the artist himself actually has a really cool, interesting backstory. His pen name is actually a really cool acronym. Sababi stands for Creative Black Artist Battling Ignorance, while Bayok represents Blessed African Youth of Creativity. I put a link in the description so you can go check out this artist's shop. He has so many great works, you totally should. And that was my top 10 list of Prince album covers. What do you guys think? What would you add or change? Let's discuss it down in the comments. If you're not already, don't forget to follow us on social media. It's at Prince's Friend YT on both Instagram and Twitter. You can also just type in Prince's Friend on Facebook. If you want to support the channel directly and get not only more of these cool videos, but also behind the scenes, outtakes, all kinds of wonderful things, become a patron. You can go to patreon.com/princessfriend to help out the channel that way. Otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed this list. Thank you so much for coming, and may you live to see the dawn.